Okay, now I'm back. Okay, now I hope that we fine right now. Okay, now as I said, we are going to review the testing in the clinical laboratory from the uh, point of care testing to the total automations in a maybe first 1 hours. And we know we already discussed diagnostic laboratory tests are required to meet the health care needs of global population in order to diagnose, to monitor the diseases, and also to make a decision about health policies, okay, uh, mm, and um, to help the physicians, the healthcare providers, to manage their patients. And the, the diagnostic tests are critical to manage um, a communicable and non-communicable diseases. We are going to discuss what does communicable or non-communicable disease means. The disease which is able to transmit from patient to other patients, okay, to spread out, such as flu, such as COVID, such as some other Ebola or Zika viruses. These are communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases are not able to spread out, to transmit from patient to patients or from the tools from the patient to the patients, such as diabetes or atherosclerosis or uh, or cardiovascular disease or cancer. These are non-communicable diseases. Okay, and also the diagnostic laboratory is critical to the surveillance of emerging infectious threats such as Ebola, as I said, COVID-19, Zika viruses, and to the safe and rational use of essential medicines. There are hundreds laboratory tests that are um, uh, performing daily, and WHO has identified about 147 essential laboratory tests, and the most common or top laboratory tests that are routinely performing are, as you see here, the top 19 tests, okay, complete blood counts, liver enzymes, renal functions, microscopy, urine analysis. You don't need to memorize these lists, okay? However, it's give us a sense of laboratory testings, okay, what kind of laboratory testing that we are performing. There are hundreds, okay, maybe more than 1,000 tests, but the top laboratory test, as we see in these slides. Now, if we come to the point of care testings, as I mentioned before, point of care testings or near testing is defined as laboratory assays performed near the patients. There are different names for that. The type also off-site laboratory testing we call, or near patient testing or decentralized testings, because they are we performing such testing away from the central laboratory, and therefore we call decentralized testings. And the POCT or point of care testings offer the potential major advantage of reduced turnaround time of the test results, which improve patients management. We are going to tell the advantage of the POC test or disadvantage. The major drawback is cost. These are uh, uh, too expensive than regular tests. Okay, other areas of concern are maintenance of QC, QA, quality assurance, or proper integration of data, connectivity, because most of these tests are performing manually, okay, with some devices or without devices. And it is a problem to put this data into laboratory management systems, okay, to record them. Now, advantage of testing are um, um, following here, as you see: patient's convenience. We need a smaller blood spacement than the regular laboratory test. The most important advantage of POCT is faster turnaround time testing, and a reduction of length of the hospital stay is other advantage, because you are performing tests, these kind of tests near the patients, and then get the result immediately and make a decision about about the patients, okay, whether they should stay in hospital or you should have them leave the hospitals. And these kind of tests are easy to operate. Okay, the equipment that we are using for point of care testings are easy to operate. Now, the cost is the most important disadvantage of POCT. Cost of training, okay, training the testing personnel and maintenance of competency, cost of labor associated with processing and analyzing the specimens, labor associated with maintaining the equipment, annual region control, maintains, and uh, uh, depreciation costs, cost of state licensing according to the volume and test complexity, and cost of proficiency programs. These are all about the cost and the most important disadvantage of the point of care testing. Now, the the use of instrument with a stable calibration curves is important, and the QC program should be available from the manufacturer. Okay, that means we have to follow the QC program. Okay, it doesn't matter whether we are performing such tests with analyzers, with in the core laboratory or near the patients, and all site performing laboratory testings are regulated under the CLIA 88 and must be licensed to perform any testing. Okay, laboratory means all site performing tests or point of care tests or near testing are the same definition for point of care testing. Now, you know the category of test procedure: waiver test, moderately complex test, highly complex test, and provider performing microscopy. Okay, these last three together are known as non-waiver tests, right? And waiver testings um, is um, mostly point of care test and diagnostic testing not performed within the traditional laboratory is called wavy testing by the Joint Commission. A site performing only waiver test must have a certificate of waiver license and must um, adhere the manufacturer instruction for performing the test. Okay, um, the QC program, quality assurance program, and the procedure of each test should provided by the manufacturer of the test. Now, all laboratory testing must meet the same quality standard regardless of where it's performed. It doesn't matter. You can either perform such tests near patients or in core laboratory, but all these testing must meet the same quality standard because after performing such tests, once we obtain the result, we put the same result into the same laboratory management systems. Okay, and then the physicians or the other healthcare provider, they don't know which methods that we are used to obtain such results. Okay, that means all the laboratory results should meet the same quality control criteria. Okay, and control of the POC resides with a clear certified laboratory and requires at least one laboratory staff member with credentials and on site to be responsible to each POC programs. Okay, there are two important issues. First is this test should meet the same quality standards, and also they should be certificate and they should be performed by a clear certificated staff. Okay. Now we also need to have a written policy and procedure for each test. Okay, for these written policies and procedure for patient preparation, for specimen collection and preservation, QC and remedial action, instrument calibration, test performance, equipment performance evaluation, and result reporting and recording. For each these steps, we need to have a written procedures. Okay, the patient-centric laboratory testings are point of care testings. Okay, as we see here, the first FDA published a blood glucose monitoring test systems, okay, in 2016. This is for prescription, point of care use, and self-monitoring blood glucose test system for over-the-counter use. As you see, this is really comfortable. Okay, you put a disc-like tools on your skin. Okay, and then it will stay there for a while. Whenever you need to measure the blood glucose, okay, and then you put this device on the disc only, you attach them, and then they will measure the blood glucose just in a seconds, okay? And this is a device that which measure blood glucose, but you have to puncture the skin, okay, and then obtain a drop of the blood in order to measure the blood glucose. Okay? Now, the personal direct consumer genetic testings, the FDA approved marketing for 23rd and Me, the name of this test, 23rd and Me, which is a personal genome service genetic health risk test. Okay, this is the first direct to consumer test that analyze DNA from users' saliva to calculate their genetic predisposition for 10 different diseases. Okay, it is increased the number of disease day by day, but these are the first 10 different diseases that you are able to analyze, okay, the genetic predisposition for these tests. You don't need to memorize all the name of diseases, but you may know that there is 23andMe personal genomic service genetic health risk test that is you are using some amount of the saliva in order to calculate the genetic predisposition for some diseases. Okay, now some questions are ready for you. Okay, which of the following, you can turn on your mic and say and the answer that you think is correct, okay? Don't worry about the correct, whether it's correct, whether it's true or not, okay? But which of the following is not an advantage of point of care testing? Lower cost, patient convenience, smaller blood specimen required, faster turnaround time. Okay, if you turn your mic and say some things, we can go forward quickly.
Is it none of the above?
You may remember the most important disadvantage of point of care testing is the cost. Okay, lower cost is not the advantage. Okay, it is a disadvantage. Okay, other is all about. These are the advantage of the point of care testing. But thank you. Don't worry. Okay, no. And which of the following is not an advantage of point of care testings? Okay, reduction of length of the hospital stay, improved patient care management, easy to operate equipment, providing most of accurate result.
Is it providing most accurate results?
Yeah, it's the accuracy is the most important concern about point of care testing. Okay, sometimes you have to compare with the core laboratory testing, with regular testing. Okay, the correct answer is D. Now, which of the following is not common test sample for the point of care testing? I still didn't mention exactly, but you may guess some things. Okay. Okay. One of um, option is not common test sample among these.
Is it feces?
Uh, the cerebrospinal fluid is the not common test samples.
Oh, so
Actually,
they test
yeah,
feces?
uh, yeah, feces is the common one. Okay, whole blood, urine, feces, and throat swabs are most common for the point of care testing, but the cerebrospinal fluid, we are using it, but is not much common, is rare. Now I'm going to show you some slides you will see, okay, just in a few minutes. Okay, a major advantage of point of care testing is, okay, which of the following is the major advantage of point of care testing?
It does have fast turnaround time.
Yes, faster turnaround time is the most important advantage. The second one is the
The use.
small amount of the sample. The second one maybe, but the uh, okay, for this question, A is the correct answer. Okay, over-the-counter test kit are in which CLIA category? Over-the-counter test kits.
Is it in waived?
Baby test, correct. Okay, baby test, the correct answer. Okay, an early example of decentralized healthcare is the point of care testing, which is approved by FDA in 2016.
Is it electrolyte testing?
Patient self-monitoring of blood glucose. As I showed the pictures, okay?
Okay, okay.
For the earlier example of the point of care testing, which approved by FDA, is the patient self-monitoring of the blood glucose. Okay, now the second part of the point of care test are non-instrument based point of care test. Okay, we have point of care test that we need use devices, instruments for that, and we have a point of care test which you don't need to use any kind of devices. Okay, you do them manually. Okay, and we call non-instrument based parts. Now these are ultra low cost diagnostic tests. Then the point of care tests we need use a instruments, and there are several tests um, called a non-instrument based POC test. Um, okay, they okay, use it widely. Okay, and um, okay, low cost, easy to use diagnostic platforms. As you see here, this is pregnancy test. Okay, this is test for infectious mononucleosis. This is test for uh, occult blast. I am going to show what they are means. Okay, and now non-automated or non-instrument based POCs. That what does means manually repeat test methods. These are manually repeat test methods include those for pregnancy, acute blood, infectious mononucleosis, and some others. Okay, more rapid tests are being developed for identification of infectious organisms such as uh, group A streptococcus, HIV tests, okay, and cardiac markers such as troponin, and the most non-instrument-based tests apply the principle of competitive, non-competitive immunoassay, enzyme immunoassay, chemical reactions, chromatography, okay. They are using several techniques, um, and as you see here at the bottom of the slides, the poked assay usually assay whole blood, as I asked before, although urine, feces, saliva, and throat swab can also be tested. Okay, but um, as you see, the most common are blood, urine, feces, saliva, and throat swab. Okay, now there are some example of non-instrument based POCs. As you see here, this is a um, POC test for infectious mononucleosis, okay? Test, which a kind of viral infections disease, and disease test for pregnancies, which we measure the level of the human chorionic gonadotropin, a hormone, pregnancy hormones. It is really easier to test them, to perform that, and say either positive or negative. And this test for Helicobacter pylori, which cause ulcer in stomach. And there are several tests that we are using, okay, for HIV, for Zika viruses, and for other diagnostic purposes. Now, for pregnancy, maybe the most common non-instrument based POC test uh, in in the world is a pregnancy test, and based on um, um, measuring or detecting the beta subunit of the hormones, okay, is therefore is known as beta human chorionic gonadotropins, because this hormone has two polypeptides, we alpha and beta. The alpha uh, polypeptide is common polypeptide, is similar to the other hormones polypeptides, and therefore detecting uh, the beta change is more specific, and therefore we call beta human uh, chorionic gonadotropins. And this is a monoclonal antibody directed against the beta subunit of the glycoproteins. There is a antibody um, embedded into the test strip. Once you put a drop of urine or blood into the test strip, if you have an antigen will be here beta human chorionic gonadotropin, and then it will bind to its receptors and its antibody, and then give a different color. Okay, now detectable amounts of the beta human chorionic gonadotropin test is about 25 milli international unit per milliliter. Okay, and are secreted, these beta human chorionic gonadotropin secreted 8 to 10 days after conception or fertilization. Okay, now the other common non-instrument based test is fecal test, stool test. There are three common type of the stool test. These are fecal occult blood tests, FOB, fecal immunochemical test, and stool DNA test. And these all are known as fecal tests. Okay, the type of the fecal occult test. Among these tests, the most common one is the FOB, is the fecal occult test, and it has, okay, three different types: chemical testing, immunological testing, and chemical versus immunological FOBs. Okay, the techniques that we are using to measure the, whether there is blood in the stool or not. Okay, it is clinically important to know that this test is easier to perform and to say whether there is a blood in the feces or not. And this is really important for colorectal cancer, okay, to diagnose colorectal cancer, okay, to diagnose any kind of bleeding of the gastrointestinal tract, okay. However, the specificity is not good because now there are some other um, kind of molecules that interfering these tests, okay, the substances and dietary considerations, okay, some foods might interfere these tests, okay. And Gaussian slide test for occult bloods uh, is a kind of the test that for fecal test. Uh, we are using this test for the presence of hemoglobin in feces. Okay, actually, all I mean the fecal occult blood test based on the hemoglobin, the presence of the hemoglobin in feces. Okay, and this is a screening test for colon cancer. Now, there is a handheld poked equipments. Okay, that means they are smaller, such as a handy phones, and then you are using these for some point of care testing. And okay, they are a microprocessor in small and often handheld instruments provided, automated, easy to perform testing with calibration uh, and onboard QC. Okay, you can connect such instrument with the laboratory information system. Okay, wireless. If you read a test result, and then this test result will be sent to the laboratory information system, okay, for recording. Okay, there are, okay, more than 10 different characteristics of devices, okay. The small blood sample and rapid turnaround time is most important characteristic of point of care devices. Easily portability and single-use disposable reagent cartridge, easy to perform protocol, and with one or two steps, okay, minimal QC tracking, storage of ambient temperature for reagents, okay. They are they have a long life, shelf life than the regular reagents. Okay, they also carry a barcode technology for test packs, control, and specimens. Uh, and as they also have a software for automatic calibration, okay, system blockout or data management, okay. And these are important characteristics of point of care testing devices. Okay, this advantage of handheld point of care testing equipments, a higher cost per test. Okay, the most important. The second one is disease transmission to the patient from the instruments. If you don't clean the devices properly, you may cause to transmission of disease from devices from to the patients, because you are using the same instrument for several patients. Okay, you have to clean up between each two patients. Okay. Okay, now we already talked point of care testing and non-instrument point of care testing, and also um, small, okay, or handheld point care of testing. Now it is time to talk about the laboratory information systems for a big size laboratories. Okay, laboratory information management system represent transmission of sample-centric information with the goal of providing timely, accurate information to the clinicians. Okay, and you reduce the number of errors. Okay, and you can routinely integrate automation and data handling, provide informed methodology with complete visibility, uh, and lead to increased productivity and process integrity. Okay? It is really convenient to perform testings uh, with a low rate of errors. Okay, a laboratory information system is the tool for delivery of this laboratory data. Okay, it is the integration of computers through a common database via various communication networks. Okay, laboratory information system is working within the laboratory, okay, within the different devices, computers uh, in the laboratories. Okay, uh, for that, for laboratory information system, you need a input devices, okay, to input data, the name of patients, identification, okay, monitors, such touch screens, okay. Also, you need barcodes, okay, in order to reduce the rate of errors, okay. These barcodes can be either one or two dimensional barcodes, and are read by the laser optical device known as a scanner or reader. Okay, you have a reader in, okay, or scanner. You read the barcodes, and then this information will um, uh, input in the laboratory information system. And radio frequency identification devices, and the automatic identification method that store and retrieves the data using tags and transponders. Okay, Also, you need output devices such as monitor, printer, onboard instrument, display in order to obtain the test results, right? And you also need data storage devices because you are doing thousands of tests daily, and you have to record these data, the result of the patients maybe for 10 years. Okay, a huge amount of the data need to be recorded, and for that you can use either hard drivers, optical storage disk, okay? But nowadays we are using a solid state drives or cloud storage. Okay, most common type of storage that we store the data. Okay, now exchange of information between the computer and the user is called interfacing. Now you have laboratory information system and you have instruments in the labs. Okay, the language of instrument is different from your laboratory information system. In order to understand each other, okay, you have to have an interface between instruments and laboratory information system. Okay, and then via this interface, they understand each other. And the information that we obtain from instrument will transfer into the laboratory information system via interfacing. Okay, most laboratory connect workstation together. Each instrument is known as workstation. You can either do it manually or with instruments, and then these workstations should connect with each other by using router, okay, to form a local area network LAN, and that can access the laboratory information system server or the hospital information system. Okay, a local area network connect the workstation together, okay, and transfer this data to laboratory information system or to the hospital information system. Okay, a wide area network connects multi-site facilities in a single network. If you have more than one hospitals, okay, 10, 30, 100 hospitals or laboratories, okay, a wide area network one connect all these facilities into a single network. Okay, a local area network is connection in between different workstation in a one single network. Okay, however, a wide area network is between different facilities, different networks, and make them a one single network. Now, the benefit of automation are that reduction of medical errors. Okay, since you are using barcodes, nothing is being manually. Okay, it is really hard to make a mistake. Okay, reduced specimen sample volume. okay, increased accuracy and precision, improves safety for laboratory staff, okay? You don't need to touch each samples single, or I mean, it started from centrifugation to performing of the test or to delivery the test result. Everything's done automatically, and faster turnaround time of the results. Okay, let's say before the time of the automation, we need 3 hours to perform one test. Okay, but now we are performing 100 tests in 1 hour. Okay, and partially elevating the impeding storage of skilled laboratory staff is other benefit of automation. Okay. Okay, what does automated system include? Now I'm going to also show you a videos just in a few minutes. Okay, as I said, it depends the size of the laboratory, the number of the laboratory. In a huge size with a high number of the tests, they are using fully automated systems, and these systems, okay, include sampling the patient's specimens automatically, devices that sampling the patient's specimen, and also um, the mechanism to add a specimen to the region in a proper sequence also is done automatically. You put reagents and you put the samples on the board, and the systems know and to how much samples to take and in which um, uh, sequence. Okay, I means the reagent and the specimens is mixed in a proper sequence automatically. Okay, it's also include incubation modules. Okay, because for some testing we need incubate them in order to get a test result. Okay, and a measuring devices, which is a techniques that we measuring, measure instrument that we measuring the test level. It can be either photometry, spectrophotometry, or immunoassay that we already discussed, or ELISA. And these are measuring devices also integrated to the automated system, and recording mechanisms. Okay, the output of the laboratory testings. Okay, these to provide a final reading or permanent record for analytical results. Okay, and then this result display on the board of the devices or on the screen of the personal computers, and then it's transferred to the laboratory management system for a long-term storage. Now, okay. Okay, the major steps designed to mimic manual techniques, specimen collection and processing, okay, as I said before, specimen and region measuring and delivery, and chemical reaction phase, measurement phase, signal processing, and data handling. These 5 steps, okay, I means prepare specimen, put on the tray and on the board, on the instruments, and then perform the test, get the results, okay? You can categorize them in 5 categories, and all these categories done automatically via laboratory automation systems. Now, okay, what does means, okay, okay, versatility and flexibility are often just as important as a high volume and speed of the testing. Okay, but automation is also desirable for less frequently ordered tests. Okay, and okay, initially highly automated systems were introduced to large volume clinical chemistry, hematology, laboratory, but we are using now for all departments of the clinical laboratories, combine all the instruments and then do perform these tests fully automated systems. Okay, this maybe give you a sense of the automation in the clinical laboratory. I'm not sure whether I share the sound. Okay, now let's see.
Northwell Health Labs perform testing on just about 100% of the patients that visit Northwell. This is where it all begins. If you really want to see how you diagnose diseases, that's what we do in a laboratory every single day, and it's the foundation of medical diagnosis. The laboratory itself costs about $60 million, and there's about 100,000 square feet of space here. We partnered with Roche Diagnostics to set up an automated testing line in here. That is their largest installation in North America. It's one of the largest in the world. Currently, this laboratory receives approximately 30,000 tubes every single day for testing. This Roche automated system can process 5,000 tubes an hour, bringing it up to a total of about 50 or 60 million per year that this could process. This is where it all starts. This is where we receive specimens in to the laboratory from all of our trucks. So once the vehicles get in and make their drop-offs, this is where these people all control the chaos. Once the specimens come in from receiving, they're sorted. The ones that are not barcode ready labeled come in here to accessioning so that the automated machines can automatically do the testing. They will sort the test tubes into racks. This sets them up so they can go down the automated conveyor belts into the analyzers. There's a significant percentage of the time that the doctor decides that he or she needs to get a different test after they see the initial results. If they order that test in their computer, this system automatically pulls it out, automatically does the testing that they add on. We have a great mix of talented people working in our laboratory here. It includes a bunch of people who've been here for a long time, some of them more than 20 years with Northwell Laboratories. The laboratory business is all about getting the right answer to the clinician at the right time so they can treat the patient. And we always strive to do that as best as we can and better tomorrow than today.
Okay. Okay, should be enough for these lectures. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? Okay. It may be enough for today. Actually, I can still wear. Okay. Okay. Do you have any question?
No questions.
Okay. Okay, let's stop here for today. Okay. We are going to continue with the chapter 10 tomorrow after exam 2. Okay. And let's see what we have in the features. Okay, take care.
All right, thank you.
See you tomorrow.